Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming up on the 5th season of Modern Warfare. It is coming out this week, and of course with that means Season 5 of Warzone is also beginning as well. And throughout these iterations of seasons within Modern Warfare 2019, this has also added a lot, and I mean a lot, to the overarching story of Modern Warfare 2019. In fact, the story kind of changes up at the beginning of every single season. So what I thought I would do today is dive in from the very beginning, the end of the campaign, and go all the way until Season 5 and explain to you what has happened so far in the Modern Warfare, and specifically the Warzone story. So to get to the start of this, where we have to begin is actually at the very end of the campaign. We get to see a very important cutscene, and it sets up everything that is about to happen within Warzone. So let's start from there.
Нет! Нет! Умоляю! Пожалуйста!
So we first see Khalid al-Assad invading Verdansk, and then we get to hear about the good guys, aka Kate Laswell's, and also on top of that, Komarov's response to this.
Who's at the helm?
Someone new.
Nice hit. What's his name?
We don't know, but he's got friends in high places.
This is Russian intel. Where did we get this?
My counterpart in Moscow.
The CIA working with the FSB.
Not the first time.
Kamarov.
Captain Price. Nikolai. You've been a bad boy.
From you, that's a compliment.
Please. We're all friends here. I owed you. For Beirut.
So at this point in time, when this story was going on, Warzone didn't exist. So what they did to continue the story is continue it through Spec Ops. And it's funny because when I went to go play the game early, well before it came out, they told us that that was what was going to happen for the rest of the year, that Spec Ops was going to push forward the narrative of Modern Warfare, and that would be how it continues throughout the year. As we know, that's not what really happened. It happened for a couple of months, and then the story switched over to Warzone, and the story of Verdansk and Armistice continued in that way. But before that happened, Spec Ops was where the story continued, and we get to hear two major things that were found out through Spec Ops. The first of which is what was going on with Armistice.
Case Officer Laswell of the Coalition. I'm in joint command with Sergeant Kamarov of the Allegiance.
Let's put our differences aside. Together, as Armistice, this is our first direct action against the Al-Qatal army.
Your mission is to find, fix, and finish off high-value targets of the AQ network in Verdansk.
And essentially through the rest of Spec Ops, the other two things that you find out are who the main bad guys are. A combination of Mr. Z and Khalid al-Assad.
This is an arms dealer they call Mr. Z. Z is wanted by the International Criminal Court for conspiracy to transport, sell, and supply arms to a foreign terrorist organization.
Mr. Z appears to have focused on one exclusive client, Al-Qatala's new number one, and has positioned himself as both supplier and advisor to the terrorist leader. Our presence in the region is the only line of defense preventing Z and the new AQ boss from pushing through to Urzikstan.
This unknown leader is now calling his army Al-Qatala Al-Jadid, the new killers.
These new killers are calling him the Immortal Lion, or Khaled al-Assad.
So essentially, this was the story of Spec Ops, Armistice versus Khalid al-Assad, Al-Qatala, and Mr. Z. But this would all start to change with the beginning of Season 1.
Kamarov. AQ Hilo in my sights.
Take it down.
Roger. Stand by. Target destroyed.
General Lyons, this is Mara. AQ Hilo down north of my position.
Copy. Get in there. Confirm enemy KIA.
Raj, on the move. I'm eyes on. Payload appears to be gas canisters. Contact! General, I got a Legion firing on my position!
Secure that payload now.
Sergeant Kamarov, we have coalition fighters in the AO.
Don't let them get the upper hand, Victor. Get down there.
Let's move. We have more. Plenty more.
So the strange thing about this cutscene is it came out before Warzone came out, but this was the beginning of the Warzone story. As we can see in this cutscene, Coalition and Allegiance start fighting against each other. We have Nikto and Mara fighting against each other in opposing divisions, and this is where the divide begins. As you can see at the end of the cutscene, Khalid al-Assad is overwatching these two fight and said, "Everything's okay, brother. Let them fight. We have more gas," because that's what Nikto shot down from the chopper. And this theme of armistice turning against each other once again continues over into the Season 2 cutscene.
Target down. Gas is closing in. We need to exfil now.
Price. Something's wrong in Verdansk. They're targeting their own. We need to find out why. Send fighters I can trust. Ghost out.
So this season's cutscene was huge for a few reasons. First things first, Ghost officially says that Armistice soldiers are fighting against each other. We need to figure out why, and we need soldiers that we can trust. That's a big thing, and that's a big thing moving forward throughout the story of Warzone. But on top of this, at this point when this cutscene came out, Warzone was still not out, yet at the very end of the cutscene, you get to see the whole map of Verdansk with a C-130 flying above and soldiers dropping in. This was the first major hint that Warzone was coming, and in fact, halfway through the season, that is when Warzone was launched. But then in the next cutscene that we have, we hear even more about Armistice in the Season 3 trailer.
Simon,
Price.
can you talk?
I can listen.
Zakhaev's plan is working. The armistice in Verdansk is officially fallen. It's bloody chaos.
Tell me something I don't know.
I got a fire team. Operators inbound hot to your position.
They better be good.
They are.
Echo 3-1, reporting for duty.
Alex. Thought you were dead.
Still standing.
You ready for a gunfight?
Let's get evil.
So quite honestly, throughout that cutscene, there really isn't that much added to the story. We hear that Armistice has officially fallen, that's the biggest part, and we also kind of find out that the entire time it was the Zakhaev's plan to actually split apart Armistice and to tear them apart from inside. So this is where things start to get interesting. This season was the season that kind of summarized everything we saw so far and also introduced Captain Price and Kyle Garrick back into the game. And after this is where things get interesting. But first, the cutscene for Season 4.
Verdansk was ground zero in the Cold War. A city of tunnels, gulags, bunkers, and weapons of mass destruction. This is Viktor Zakhaev. His father was a Soviet-era hero who wanted a world war he never got. So Viktor found a willing partner to fulfill his father's wishes. Al-Assad had an axe to grind against the superpowers. He was free, armed, and turned loose. Coalition and Allegiance forces signed treaties and sent in their best to restore order. But Zakhaev pulled strings, sowed distrust, and divided. We turned our guns back on each other, just like he wanted. Intel says there's still a hidden world here and plans to use it. It's a bloody powder keg. The Zakayev's already lit the fuse.
Let's get it done, yeah?
Bravo 6. Going down.
So in Season 4, Captain Price wasn't the only thing that was added. Also, intel missions were added into Warzone as well, which helped further progress the story of Warzone. And with these, we found out two major things. So in the very first set of intel, we find out about the airport attack that happened very early on in the Verdansk war that's going on. In the final piece of intel that we had in Season 4, we find out that that attack was actually taken out by Coalition and Allegiance soldiers fighting against each other, making us know that the divide in the Allegiance and Coalition, and specifically in Armistice, has been going on for a very long time, and this has been Zakayev's plan. Further, we found out about these biochem weapons that were being brought into Verdansk via the 1930 express train. Now, I think the biggest piece of intel that we actually get is in the third set of intel. We find out that soldiers have been getting paid off by the Zakayevs to carry out their wishes, whether that be hiding a storage container, fighting Armistice soldiers, or so on. And this intel comes at the exact time that Shadow Company is being added in with Season 5.
We are soldiers, each our own force. Join the Armistice. Join the Armistice Alliance. Stand up for your brothers.
He was right until that treaty collapsed and chaos set in. Now we got friends on the ground who need professionals to get the job done right. Shadow Company has actionable intel and the best warfighters money can buy. So I ask you, who do you want to be? And who do you want on your team? Join us.
So as you can see, with Season 5, Shadow Company is being added as an Allegiance faction within Warzone. And with this, we know that these are basically mercenaries for hire. And the question we have at this point is, are these going to be good characters or bad characters? With Allegiance and Coalition and Armistice soldiers already fighting against each other, where are these soldiers going to fall? As we know, in Modern Warfare 2, they were bad characters. And as we already know, Zakayev is already paying off soldiers, and you think the easiest ones to pay off would already be the mercenaries for hire. So with this, only time will tell, and this is where we are going into Season 5. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the full story of Warzone so far. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, it's always appreciated if you do hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, like what you see, want to stay up to date on everything Modern Warfare and everything Call of Duty, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard, and I want